I just learned some jazz today, it's true. He just learned some jazz.
Episode 52. We talked about no in this episode. Liz, what did you learn about saying no?
I gotta do it more often.
Me too. I guess that's the biggest thing, that we all suck at saying no.
And also say the right yeses.
Learn how to say yes.
You know me, I'm an optimist. Let's focus on positive. So I want to really just focus on saying yes to the right people and no to the right people.
Exactly. And don't overjudge yourself if it's the right no or the right yes.
F the haters.
If the haters, the doubters. Don't listen to them.
Just say no.
Listen to yourself, baby. Yes. What do you think? What do you like on your burger? One thing you shouldn't say no to is liking and subscribing our podcast, though. And make sure you share it on your stories and your friends. Liz and I watch and we see. I need those tags to be up, bro.
All right, guys, I want to hear from you. Let us know what you think. Enjoy the episode.
What's 52? 52 weeks?
There you go.
52 weeks.
That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, consistency.
I just for a little less.
Woo! Thanks out to us.
How's consistency feel for you?
I mean, it's not hard being consistent.
Do you think it's important?
I think it's the number one thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's the secret.
All right, guys, that's the episode. We just told you the secret.
No, but like, that's not what this episode's about, but I really do believe that consistency is the secret.
It is.
Like,
anything I've done is because of that.
Like, there's a lot of things that you can't control, but showing up every day, that's what you can't control.
Sure can.
That's the thing. But it's hard. But it's hard to be consistent because you need a reason to be consistent. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't have good enough reasons to be consistent.
Right, especially if they're not doing things if they're doing things they don't want to be doing.
Hence why they can't be consistent.
Yeah. So, Gary Vee had a graph today with the 4 corners, which we talk about all the time. He was talking about where you want to be spending all your time. So the upper left corner is things you love and things you're really good at, mm-hmm. things you don't love, but you are good at it, and then things that, all that whole thing. And he said that the issue is that too many people are spending their time in the wrong categories. Oh, so, and especially, I've been talking about it because my business is growing and I'm trying to outsource and basically go to scale. But he's actually talking about people that aren't able to actually launch or achieve success. It's equally the reason.
I agree.
The reason why it worked for me is I love to cook and I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I was in that category the whole 4 years. Thank God there was no contracting, there was no invoicing, there was no HR, finance, accounting, taxes. None of that happened. I was all in that happy zone. So if you're looking for something that you want to do and find success in, spend as much time as possible in that category.
I think that is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. Not a lot of people can still work hard in something they don't love. It's like a special kind of person to be able
mm-hmm.
to do that.
And you're not going to achieve great success pretending that you're enjoying something just to try to get the bag. Oh yeah,
100%. Or just responsibilities, or sometimes people don't want to give up mm-hmm. or quit because their lifestyle, it provides something, the security, right?
Yeah.
Too. And so sometimes it's hard to make all those decisions.
Oh yeah.
But I do think it's more important than they tell you about it. Mm-hmm. I don't think they sell do what you love enough.
I know. No one ever told us this.
Yeah, they sell you on do what makes the most money, do what makes you most.
Do it secure in the long term.
Exactly.
What will match your 401k?
Exactly.
That was all I heard about.
Be smart, right? Have a good life, but no one talks about.
Get some health insurance.
Yeah, if you love something and you have a business brain,
right.
You're able to make money off it.
Correct.
I think so.
You just have to wait. It's a long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, if you love it, then you'll have your cup will be filled.
Correct.
If you don't love it, you'll be focused on numbers too much.
Right.
Because you don't love it that much.
So today we're going to talk about the letter N. The alphabet series is back, folks. We've made it to N.
Wow.
So N stands for?
No. N-O.
N-O.
I suck at saying no.
Tell me about it. Now, guys, if you were hoping N stood for negative Nancy's, head to D for Debbie Downers. We got you. No.
No.
Let's talk about what's your relationship with no?
It's hard for me to say no, 100%. I've gotten better when I don't. So how I'm able to say no if I don't listen to people, I just say no. That's the only way I can say it. If I start listening to you and like start buying into your vision, or you're a friend of mine, it's really hard for me to say no at that point. If I really don't listen, I can be like, nope, I didn't listen to you. No, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to like get to that point. Like
Okay.
it's like I have 3 seconds. After that, it's like I'll definitely do the maybe later thing. That's where I'm stuck at.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that because there's the right way to say no and the wrong way to say no.
Yeah, and that's definitely, I know, the wrong way to say no. I just don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, for sure next week or next month, or maybe when I'm not as busy, right? Hoping that someone will catch the hint. They never do. So like, and they always like email me again and again. I just don't answer, but they persistent.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Like people DM persistent, you know? And I feel bad because I know I want to say no, but I can't say no. And I think they know that too.
Oh, yeah, they know.
And so they're trying to like, well, eventually he's going to break. But I'm not going to break one.
That's why I learned you have to say no correctly.
So how do you say no correctly, Liz?
Okay. Well, I thought we'd get to that later, but we'll talk about that now. So I think it's really important when saying no to not leave it open-ended. Now, Bjork, who we had on recently, actually talked about this more in depth on his podcast. But essentially, for example, let's say someone invites you. I get this commonly. Can you come do a cooking demonstration or speak at our church or talk to this group? And obviously, I'm a one-person company. There's just so many things I can do, right? I simply can't do all the things. So the issue is that you might say, oh, unfortunately, I got my son's soccer game that night. Can't do it. Thanks so much for thinking of me. Hoping you'll never hear from them again. Well, guess what? Oh, no worries. How about November? How about, oh, no problem, December. Does that work for you? No,
Yeah.
Karen, it still doesn't. But that's my fault because I
Tell 'em.
pretended it was because of Timmy's soccer game.
Yeah.
No, I just don't have the bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
So the way to do it is to close that loop of opportunity for them. And you guys, we'll get to why this is important. I know it's uncomfortable, trust me. The way to properly say no is to say, thank you so much for thinking of me. I really appreciate that. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do cooking classes at this time. Thank you again. Good luck. So don't leave it open-ended with the date thing.
Yeah.
Which I did that for many years and ended up doing it 2 months later. You know what I mean? And then what happens is you don't ever have a slow time because you just push things.
Everything to the
You're
back
just
end,
pushing everything
and then
up.
You're just in this circle of life.
Yeah.
So that just made me think about something. So one thing I'm really good at is saying no to things I don't want to do, or people who want to make me do things. I'm really good at saying no to those.
I was going to say, I feel like you're great at saying no.
The thing I suck at saying no are things I don't care about. Things that are like in this weird position where like I don't hate it.
Oh, you mean where you're indifferent?
Yeah, where I'm different.
Okay.
And I think that's where a lot of my issue is because I'm indifferent about a lot of things. And so now I'm learning that should either go into, I got to figure out that does that go in a yes category or a no category. Because a lot of things I just don't simply like indifferent about. So it doesn't really bug me.
Yeah.
But then when you think about time, those are still time commitments and can still be things that could affect whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So then something should still be, oh, no, I don't want to do this.
Right.
But for me, I get trapped in what am I doing at Wednesday at 1 p.m.?
So that's an issue of not really having your priorities set?
I'll be like, I can just do my work at 12 and 1 p.m. be open. So I'll do my work at 12 and 1 p.m. be open. And so then I'll just have a 1 p.m. meeting.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily want to be there, but I necessarily don't hate being there.
So something I read about that is in terms of prioritizing your time, that you have to be very cognizant of what your goals are on a 7-day period and a 30-day period. So really in the micro, so not really 3 to 5 year, because that's not going to really help you tomorrow at 2 p.m. So every day you need to say, what are the things I want to accomplish today? And anything that isn't within that, you don't agree to. And then same thing with like the week ahead. You do like your weekly audit, and I recommend doing this ahead of time, like, you know, not like within the week. Like I do it on Sundays, but it could be like on Monday, whatever it is. And essentially, what are your goals for the week? And you guys, I'm not talking. For me, like for example, it's working out 5 times. You know, whatever it might be. It could be eating at home 6 meals. Whatever it is, it could be pitching 10 new clients. But you have to be very proactive with your time, or else people will take your time away from you. And by being very clear about what your goals are, it's going to be easier to say no, even if you have the time. Because just because you have the time available, do you want to decide what to do with that hour, or do you want Sally to?
No, exactly.
Sally's my favorite fake name.
No, I think that's the point right there. And so I've gotten way better, I think, in the last year, maybe a year and a half, by doing that, because I don't feel as guilty. Because I really want to empower people. I really want to help people. And so,
what helped you remove that guilt?
One, that thing you just said.
Okay.
But 2, realizing that like my mission, or where I'm probably trying to accomplish, can be better accomplished if I do the things I need to do first. Right?
There we
so
go.
It's like perspective. But like for a lot of people, you might be stuck in the rut of like you know, the dad was talking to a customer, and he was talking about his idea to fix homelessness, right? And I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great mission. And we talked about it. We jammed about it for a second. But I was like, yo, listen, at the end of the day, like, you aren't in a position to fix homelessness. So like you're gonna need
Crushing his dreams.
Well, I'm not trying to crush his dreams,
bat.
but give perspective, right?
Yeah.
And being like, okay,
How much impact can you really make on something?
yeah, can you really make on something, and what are you really trying to accomplish? Like, so for example, like being able to make decisions or being able to be part of something is 2 different. Again, we talked about in our last episode, like value structures, and so I think what I've learned is that might be my ambition, to help people and fix homelessness, but I can't do that if I don't have the resources, the network, or the plan to execute it.
Yeah.
Right? And so if I'm taking time to meet with people who want to do the work, or who can make a website but have no money or no real plan, I kind of jump the court, to put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
And so I should have said no to that.
Yeah.
Right? But I think a lot of people are trying to fit everything in a month.
Yeah.
Or everything in a year. And not look at a long-term picture of it.
Right.
Because homelessness has been around before
Yeah.
I was born, before you were born,
Right.
and it'll be here after.
Yeah.
Like that's such it's not just housing
long game.
and food.
Yeah.
For those kind of issues. So what I've kind of learned is like, if I'm sitting with somebody and I want to help them and empower them, the best way I can do that is continually doing it on my mission and have the door open for them to come and go. Maybe not necessarily always spending an hour or 2 at a coffee shop.
Right.
Right, but sometimes it's hard when you can't tell the forest from the trees, right? Like
100%.
You're just in it. So sometimes you're, well, I want to help, I want to encourage.
Yeah.
Well, like you helping encourages you continually to do what you set out to do. And the reason they want to meet with you is because you continually do those kind of things.
Right.
Right. So you're not far off from your mission. Right. If your mission is to sit at coffee shops and consult people, well then go ahead. And that's not my mission.
Right.
I'm trying to build businesses.
So that's good. You're clear on your mission, and that helps you say no to things that aren't in line with your mission.
So having clarity, it's still hard. It's not easy by any means.
But you can't make decisions without having that clarity.
At all. You can't make any sound decisions without having that clarity.
All right, let's talk about another no. How about saying no? This is where I struggle a lot. No to people pleasing.
Well, this is where I'm really good at, friend.
I know. That's why we're here.
I don't know. It's in my DNA. How do I explain that to you?
I know. Well, you know how you can't comprehend the scheduling thing?
Yeah. I can't. Okay, so.
Teach me how to stop people pleasing.
Okay, so.
Because I know a lot of people struggle with this.
Well, you just said it in a sense, like Sally determines your hour. Mm-hmm. I don't let anyone have power over me.
So this is more power over your mindset versus your time.
Exactly. So the way you're like, I'm not letting Sally take my hour because I need this hour, is the same way you're not letting Sally tell you what to fucking do.
Or how to feel, like, you know.
Or how to feel,
yeah.
And honestly, like, so, and I truly believe this, I never got the other side of it, so I only know, like, the negative side in a weird way. So I'm like, well, if you keep trying to fit in somebody's box, like, you're gonna have a horrible like ineffective life. Like it's just gonna be just.
Yeah.
I just even me thinking about it is making me mad.
Yeah.
Like the fact that someone can dictate how you want to feel about something or what you should be doing with something. Like no. It's like against my whole DNA structure.
Yeah.
My whole mindset structure. Because it's literally impossible for you to win at that game. Like if you try to people please and get everyone, like you're gonna lose. You can't do that. Like your intent can be, but like someone's gonna get the short end of the stick, and you won't be doing a great job for anybody at that point.
Yeah.
Right? I think you have to have a level head, be clear about, have more clarity in your life. I guess is like the whole kind of thing that probably circles back around now, but have more clarity on like I'm not gonna allow my needs to people please, like determine this outcome of the situation.
Yeah.
Because that could be wrong. Like my need might be. All right, let's do an analogy. We're on the battlefield. I got a splinter in my toe, right? And somebody just got their arm cut off, right? You right? You focusing on my.
Good morning, folks.
Right? You focusing on the splinter in my toe is a non-issue. Like that's you like trying to people like me when someone's their arms cut off.
Yeah.
Right?
So true.
So I might be mad at you that you took 2 hours to get to me when I needed you right now. You need me right now. That's a small situation, and I'm sorry, right? So like anything like that, I think you have to have that extreme moment in your decision making, right? Where it's like, okay, what's the biggest need I need to take care of right now?
Right. And if you don't take care of your own needs first, you can't take care of other people's needs.
Yeah, versus then trying not to be like a people pleaser. Like, I think that's probably just who you are going to be for the rest of your life. I think you just figure out whose needs or what the mission is more important for this certain circumstance versus then trying to not try to take care of like anybody's needs. I think you're just inherently going to do that. So I think you just have to have
So you know what? That's actually true. And I did that because I know that as a type 2, obviously helping others is literally like our main thing. And I'm not going to pretend to change personality. So what I did was obviously, and this is how you go into like the healthy 2, but something that and this takes a lot of effort and constant work and reshifting and refocusing because, you get to these subconscious habits. But I work really hard to help people that are equally helping me. So what happens is often you'll find yourself, they call it like watering a dead garden, is helping people that literally when you need help are not there for you. They're not there for you. So I think it's like we think the more we help them, maybe then they'll suddenly want to help us. That's not really how that works. In fact, the people you should be helping are probably the people that you really have to help. Like it's not as obvious because they're not necessarily reaching out to help you.
Yeah, you.
So I just had to be really aware of, and this goes again to our point about, you were talking a lot about like physical time of like meetings, and this is more about mental energy, who you give your energy to. And you want to make sure that you are giving your energy to the people that are giving that energy back to you, matching that. And if you find yourself constantly putting the needs of people ahead of you, it should definitely be the people who are there for you.
Yeah, so I guess in the needs ahead of you, then yes.
Well, yeah, that's not what people pleasing is.
Yeah, well, for me, I guess it is.
I think that's the definition of people pleasing.
So I'm glad you went down there. So for me, there's very few people that I put their needs before mine.
No, that's why you're not a people pleaser.
Yeah.
So my DNA is putting people, so especially ESFJ and type 2, so the nurses out there, the teachers out there, the moms, they say that's like the cliche, but most ESFJs are those people. They inherently, all they do is put other people's needs ahead of themselves, and there's many out there. It is typically women, and they're often in those professions.
I think, yeah.
And so it's like that's never going to go away. All I think about all day is other people's needs. My husband's, my kids, my clients, my friends. I don't spend a ton of time, what do I need? Now that's where I'm working on that.
So I agree with you about giving it back to people that give to you. And I think another
if you're going to give it to somebody.
Yeah, I think another perspective is, why do you think you're the best person to take care of that need?
They always say, like, is it yours to fix?
That weird God complex, right? That weird, like, control in a sense of, like, I'm the best. Maybe you're not.
Totally. Is it your problem to fix?
That's
what type 2 should always ask themselves. They say that, like, to be healthy.
Yeah.
Is this my problem to fix?
And are you in the best position to fix it?
Correct.
Like, another analogy about arm cutting off and splinters. Yes. If your arm's cut off and I'm telling you how great of a person I am and how well-intended I am and that does not help your arm being cut off.
No.
You need a doctor stat. Right? So you also have to like be real with yourself and be hard on yourself in the sense like, yo, I'm not the best person to fix this issue.
Yes.
Even though I want to help.
Right.
Right? I want to do this thing.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna make it probably worse or be a non-mover of the needle.
Yes.
Right? Because like, you're just not in that position to help. Now, the way you might help is like, yo, I know someone that can help you.
Right.
Right? And the mental energy and like, I'm really good at, I guess, protecting my energy. I'm really good at like, okay, I need time.
You have great boundaries.
So like, I think always go off how you feel. If you don't feel great after, then don't do it.
Always.
Right? Like if you know you're gonna be in a rut after this, then don't do it because like that's not making you the best use. You're not gonna be available for the people who might actually need you.
And like to all the people pleasers listening, you know when you've reached that because it's like that feeling of watering a dead garden. If you feel like you're constantly watering a dead plant, you probably don't feel good after quote unquote helping them or pleasing them or trying to meet their needs. You're gonna know right away. For example, on the other end, if you do something for your kids, you're probably gonna feel really great about it because
I think also asking if someone also wants your help
always
is a big thing too.
You have to always.
So a lot of people help without people asking.
Do you ever
for help.
notice how often I ask you that?
Yeah, and then they don't get the thing they're looking for in return. It's like, well, I didn't ask for help.
100%.
So you're gonna help somebody, completely help out of your own that you want to do it for you.
Yeah,
Not
that's a type too.
Not for anybody else. Like you're
100%.
doing it for you, and nothing they can say or do is gonna affect you negatively or positively. Like you're doing it because you want to help.
You have to have literally the expectation that nothing will happen in return. That's the healthiest way to help.
Yeah.
That it's like charity. The 100%.
Well, that's the only way to actually help.
Right.
Like you help with
But remember,
some weird thing like, I'm looking for a thank you or
right.
Then like you're not helping. You're manipulating at that
100%.
point. And so like it's hard for like people to like, well that wasn't my intent. I was trying to help, but well, then help.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah. So
I think you
that,
stop right there, right?
Yeah.
I helped you get across the road.
The end.
Like that's it.
That's it.
You don't help the
And
old
you know
lady
what
across
I
the road
do
and
as
ask her for
someone that
$100
actually struggles with that, because it's super easy to like say that if you've never actually struggled with that.
Yeah.
Which I know that because like there's other personality types, so I'm like, oh, just do this and that. It's so easy, but like I realize it doesn't work that way. But what I really learned is that, to your point, ask first. You notice how often I ask you, do you want me to help you with this?
Yeah.
All the time. Sometimes if I don't get a response, I'll ask again to make sure because is this your problem to help? Number two, when you go into it, even before I even offer help, I tell myself 10 times to make sure there's no hidden agenda. Like I will get nothing back from this. Not even a thank you, not even a reply, not even the reciprocation, money, nothing. Like there will be no reciprocation.
Other than good karma.
Well, right. But then you're like, do you still want to do it? Yeah. And if I still want to do it, then I offer the help. Now, that's taken me years to get to that. And like, therapy at some point, really having my circle strong. But I work really hard and I'm not perfect at it, but that is something I work hard to make sure is it my problem to fix and am I okay with nothing back?
Yeah. And so yes.
Not crazy, but you probably think that's crazy because you never have to do that.
Yeah, like, and I'm not saying that like I haven't like poured into somebody or helped somebody and I didn't get anything in return. It didn't not feel great. Like I'm perfect on that. But like what happens real quick in like 90 seconds is I realized that like I did what I could do in this moment.
Yeah.
And so like I can't beat myself up for that.
Okay, that leads us to our next no.
So, all right, go ahead.
Wow, I was excited because it was the perfect segue. No judgment of yourself or others.
Yes, 0.
Let's talk about this.
I'm good at this.
I know you are. Vince is great at this topic. This whole episode is Vince's specialty.
Wow.
Maybe we'll do a yes.
I'm not
one.
perfect.
We'll do the yes episode. I'm gonna crush that one. All right, talk to me about judgment, and then I can also share like my experience with it.
Well, first you share yours, I think.
It's the bad side. So I struggle really hard with judging myself. Sometimes it's like, and I'm sure I know many people feel this way also, but they always say, do you treat yourself the way you treat your friends? Do you give yourself the same grace that you give your friends? So what I struggle with is sometimes I beat myself up more than I ever would of a friend so it's like you should be treating yourself just like you treat your friends,
Yeah,
right?
give yourself some grace.
And then judgment, I really struggle with judging, like in terms of like mentally beating myself up if I make a mistake or if I didn't do something the best or all of that.
So, yes.
Which is awful, by the way. You should not judging yourself is going to hold you back. Now, luckily,
Completely.
I don't do that in every area. For me, it's more relational based.
Yeah.
Shout out to the type 2s. So fortunately, I don't do that in business ever. If I have a bad business month, I don't feel any shame, judgment, guilt, sadness. It doesn't impact me, which is, I think, why I've been able to amass pretty good success.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think I struggle with that emotionally in terms of beating myself up.
Yeah.
But that's also the type 2, as we talked about in the Enneagram episode, thinking repressed, overthinking how other people.
And the beautiful thing is that you see that you can do it in business. That means you can do it in your life.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Just being aware of it is always.
Yeah. So it's not something that is impossible for people to accomplish, right? Because if you can do it in one aspect, you can do it in all aspects.
Totally.
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't mean it's gonna be easy by any stretch of means, right? Does not mean one day is gonna. It means you work on it continuously all the time.
Unless you're you and you're just really good at it.
I'm naturally good at that side of it. And so one I always tell people is inefficient, completely inefficient, and it doesn't feel great.
So talk about this.
Those two reasons should
talk about a time when you did something that maybe somebody else would beat themselves up over, maybe you messed up or whatever.
Well, so here I go.
And how do you handle it?
It's not efficient. It doesn't feel great. What's up, guys? Subscribe. Tell your best friend. Tell your mom. Tell your neighbor. Tell your 4-year-old kid. Please listen.
We appreciate you. And thank you so much for all of your 5-star reviews on Apple. That helps us get this podcast out to other people who will enjoy. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
And with that, enjoy the rest of the episode.
You gon' learn, you gon' learn.
Talk about a time when you did something that maybe somebody else would beat themselves up over, maybe you messed up or whatever.
Well, so here I go.
And how do you handle it?
It's not efficient. It doesn't feel great. So that should make you stop doing it. But I understand that's perfect world situations. That's not real. That's not reality. That's not reality, right? So then you have to go deeper on why you're feeling those things. And that's where people who beat themselves up a lot don't want to go deeper. They want to stay in the I suck. I was so stupid.
Yeah.
They don't want to go with the reasons why they feel like they suck or why they feel stupid. Because when you figure out those things and you expose yourself to that, then when you start going down that track, I guarantee you'll stop.
Yeah.
Because you know where it's coming from. Because it's coming from some sort of pain or insecurity.
Yeah.
Right? You're insecure about your...
And it's also from your upbringing, your parent relationship.
All that, all in one. So
DNA, I'm sure, is part of it.
So I might cry after I lose a basketball game. Well, that means I'm deeply insecure about
the pool, when I beat you at pool.
Yeah, I might be deeply insecure about my social standing or where I fit with these guys. I might be deeply insecure about
how I value you are at pool.
How I value myself as a man, right? And so my reaction is tears and being upset and beating myself up. And some people just focus on that part. Well, the reason why you're feeling that is because you're dealing with all that deeper shit that you have to really dig deep, and that's the hard work I think that you talk about, that I talk about a lot. Is a lot of people don't want to go down that track because that's scarier. They want to just focus on that point. So if you're a people pleaser and you struggle with beating yourself up when you mess up, you have to realize why are you beating yourself up? We know you're beating yourself up. Don't try to stop the beating yourself up part yet. We have to know why you're doing it. Well, I'm doing it because of this. Well, keep going. Keep asking yourself why. I think that's the Japanese ask why 7 times kind of mentality, and you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you'll get to the crux of it, and then that thing can either make you laugh that's stupid, I shouldn't be feeling that way, or it'll be okay, I need to work on this, and because this is a real thing for me.
I also think that if you beat yourself up for something, don't then keep beating yourself up for that. That's where I think you get into those spirals of at some point you just have to accept that you have a tendency towards certain things.
Yeah.
You know that you're not great at scheduling and managing whatever.
Yeah.
So you don't beat yourself up for that. You almost own it and accept it and you work on it. But you're certainly not going to go down that spiral of because then it's if you're in a bad place and you're definitely not going to make a good schedule.
Yeah, and then what happens is you try to fix and change. And I'm not saying that you can't I'm not saying fixing and changing isn't the wrong mentality, but it's more about accepting yourself.
100%.
Like, stop trying. Like, I'm not gonna try to become a great scheduler. That's just not who I am.
No.
Now, that does not mean
I think massive acceptance is the solution to so much of this. Just massively accepting who you are, which also you can't do if you don't really know who you are.
You don't really know who you are. And so I could go down a trait of like, well, I feel insecure that Liz and her great at scheduling and I'm not. And that makes me deeply insecure about myself.
I've literally never.
I'm just saying, for example. And that can make me beat myself up and get me into the, right? Well, first of all, just accept that like you'll never be good at scheduling.
Yeah.
That is not your thing.
Right.
So how do you be better? Well, you accept it and you find tools to help you, but just always know that you're gonna be 5 minutes late. You're going to miss something, and you find ways to hack it. Maybe you hire someone to help you with scheduling. Maybe you, right? Eventually, but you just have to accept it, really, and then hopefully people around you accept it. That does not excuse you for bad behavior. Though.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that is the thin line for me.
Yeah, you want to take ownership.
Like you want to take ownership.
We're back to your core values.
Like you want to take ownership of it. Like you don't want to ever use it as like a
crutch.
In our episode that's coming out, make sure you check that one out around the Enneagram. We talked about weapons and shields and your types and stuff, and you don't want to use your weaknesses as weapons or shields for people. Like just accept it. Like Vincent might be late for the podcast. Like he's trying. Like I'm usually am. And like we can laugh
Sometimes
about
we'll
it.
have a guest on live, and I have to talk to them.
Right,
and keep them occupied.
I feel bad about it, and I'm not trying to be a dick, right? But I do try, and I know my weaknesses where I'll try to fit too many things. And so what I'll do now is like get better at what I'm trying to do before I have to do something else. But I just know that there'll be times I'll be weak,
right.
And I accept it. Like I'm sorry, right?
There's gonna be times that Liz cries. For reasons that Vince can't comprehend.
Yeah.
And it's just, we're going to have to get through those tears to get to the good part.
Spend a couple hours on those tears, and we're going to get through them, right? But it is that accepting yourself and not saying no to yourself.
Right.
And like, there's a reason why your body and your emotions are reacting that way.
Right. Emotions are such a tool.
And I think a lot of people like don't like it so much that they try to find these books and these people to like fix it.
No, there's no, you guys, there's no pill.
It's like, well,
there's no pill for crying.
Like, I don't think there's fixing it. I think there's managing it and using it effectively. I would rather cry for wins, right? And
I would too, Vince.
Right? And I would rather be late, and still be alive. You know what I'm saying? And so that's that's how I go in my brain. Like that's how I use it. Like if I'm gonna be late, well, I look at it as well. If I was on time, could have got shot twice.
Yeah.
Right? Completely probably wrong, but it helps me feel better, more accepting myself.
Look at that acceptance.
And then what happens is that you tend to get better at it. First you're 30 minutes late, then you're 20 minutes late, then you're 10 minutes late, then you're 5 minutes late, then you're finally on time, now you're early.
Right.
Now you're early. And then, 4 years down the road,
right.
we don't have scheduling problems anymore.
Right.
Right? But if you're at day one, I need to fix this and here's 10 books I'm going to buy. And what? Come on, bro.
Right.
You're not going to read those 10 books.
You know what I can't wait for?
You're not scheduling it.
The day that a Sally calls me, hi, I'm here on behalf of Vincent McIntosh to work on the schedule for next week. Do you have availability at this time?
That's going to happen.
I know. I can't wait for it.
And the funny thing is that I think so many people are going to be so mad with that.
Oh, yeah, they will.
No, I talked to Vince.
Oh, yeah.
I don't talk to Vince this thing. And I'm like, bro, you talk to me, bro. I'm going to say yes. And then you're going to be at the coffee shop at 3 p.m. and I'm not going to be there. You're going to text me where I'm at. And I'm be like, Sally, what the fuck? She's like, I didn't know. I didn't talk to him. I'm like, God damn it, But
so that's another no. Total different area. No.
So, did I use that example with you about on the burger thing?
No.
What you like on a burger?
No. Tell me.
Haven't? So this goes back to value structure.
You talked about it last week.
Didn't I talk about this last week? Okay.
Ketchup mustard thing?
Yeah, ketchup mustard. I did talk about it.
You could say it again, but you might be repetitive from last week.
Okay.
Coming out after the edit.
Yeah, maybe so I don't go over that example. But.
Well, wait. I want to look at that list I sent you because there are so many things I want to get to.
Well, I also said neglect and
And I had said saying no to clients who aren't fit, saying no to people who drain your energy, saying no to doubters, saying no to saying no to opinions.
Okay, let's
saying no to pressure to be someone that doesn't align with your values. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say no, saying no to money. So another no is saying no to money. And I know you guys are like, what, Vince? You're saying no to money?
Yeah.
aren't you the bag grabber? Aren't you
Yeah.
the Irie Don? Don't you just focus all on the dollar bills? Right? Never doesn't have to make sense. It has to make dollars. Listen, not all money is good money.
Right.
And so you never want. So everything's about advantages and leverage in my brain. And so people can hold a carrot in front of your head, a bag of money. And sometimes in business, you have to be honest and truthful about what you're good at and what you're not good at. And so, and like, for example, the other day, someone wanted me to do this catering job for completely cheap. And I literally couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't make it happen. Right? Because I just can't afford it.
Yeah.
And so you have to learn how to say no to those kind of things for your own well-being. And I think a lot of people in business, especially young in business, like at this age, they're so quick to say yes to a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
And not saying no because they don't understand their value.
And I think it's a scarcity mindset.
It is scarcity mindset. I need to grab this, I need to grab this, I need to grab this, I need to grab this. Now, that doesn't mean that from day one, you see this with a lot of creative people where they'll like try to charge $5,000 for their painting day one.
Right.
And they price themselves out. That's not what I'm saying. Right? You have to have that balance of like, it's going to take you a little bit before you get to that point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, especially in making decisions from clients or making money, you have to learn how to say no. But also people who you may be working with, having that discerning spirit to understand like that's a no too. Like we see a lot with people probably in your world and my world where they price themselves out.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're making other people make decisions for them.
Yeah.
And they should be saying no to that person. Like, we're not going to charge that.
Yeah.
And here's the reasons why. Why? Because I make decisions here. Right?
Yeah.
And so I think in business and money, and that's the hardest thing, especially with what do you say? You say scarcity?
Yeah.
Or how do you say it?
Oh, yeah.
How do you say
scarcity?
How do you say scarcity?
Scarcity.
You say scarcity.
Scarcity.
Scarcity. You got a little scarcity
Scarcity.
mindset. Whatever.
Well, I think that for entrepreneurs especially, there's no set paycheck. So it's hard to say no to money because you don't have a set paycheck every day. I worked in the corporate world, so I had that set paycheck, and that's real nice. Like, every 2 weeks it's direct deposited. So what happens is you get to a place now where you're taking on clients, or maybe you have a side hustle and you're trying to quit that day job, and I think there's that nervousness. But what I want to explain to people is that when you say no, you're just giving yourself the opportunity to say yes to the right thing.
Yeah. You want to hear my formula?
Yeah.
So I think your first 3 years, you say yes to fucking everything.
Yeah.
Especially you come from nothing, right?
Yeah.
There's a Rick Ross line in the new, he has a song with Anderson .Paak. And
I just heard that.
He was like, when you come from nothing, they call you impatient, right? And he's like, you don't have anything. So I think your first 3 years, like you have no money, you're trying to get a business. Say yes to every opportunity. Take your inch.
Yeah.
When you get a little established, right, and you're not necessarily needing the money,
Right.
that's when I think what you have a great understanding on is like, yo, if your brand is healthy, you shouldn't be saying yes to Pepsi money.
Right.
Or always say yes to like every ad on your blog or on your Instagram, because that just makes you look cheesy.
Yeah.
It's not what you're trying to accomplish, but you're so money hungry and you're so scarcity mindset that you think that this $5,000 is the end all be all.
Yeah.
Or this $100 is the end all be all. It's not.
No.
Right? Because you built a base now.
Yeah.
And so it is that perspective shift where like, don't sacrifice your values completely to make the least amount of money so you can just make the money when money's a made up construct, right?
100%.
Like money for me it's just freedom, right? Like be able to like not have me relying on something. But when you have that point, then like you don't need money anymore. So whatever your thing is, understand that. And once you have a good
Don't give money so much power.
Okay, yes. Because then someone can always be able to buy you.
Right.
You always have a price.
Do you want to know
on
my
it.
easy way to discern? This is a line that I learned. Shout out to Aggie and Kristen. A lot of food bloggers taught me this early on. I'm talking 9 years ago. Basically, and we've talked about this before, choose temporary discomfort over long-term resentment. Always choose temporary discomfort over long-term resentment. So when I get an opportunity that comes my way, or even when it's an opportunity that we're negotiating the price or the terms or the scope of the project or the timing, sometimes this time of year holidays, I'm like, can you have it done by next week? Things like that would put a lot of pressure on my family, my team.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily just all about the dollars. It might not all be about the money. But what you have to really consider is, and you've talked about this in other instances, that you don't necessarily love that discomfort of like maybe letting someone down or saying no to that meeting. And for me, I might not like that discomfort of, trying to negotiate with the client for more money or to change the scope of the project.
Yeah.
But let's say you just go with what they want you to do.
Yeah.
You're going to just then have long-term resentment, which lasts so much longer than that time it would have taken you, and just that little bit of discomfort in that little
Exactly.
meantime.
I agree
So
with
it's
that.
always beneficial to choose temporary discomfort over long-term resentment. And by the way, this is the same thing with like personal
Everything.
friendships,
Everything
romantic
in life.
relationships. Like, many people stay in awful relationships
Just 'cause
because they
it's-
don't want to go through the breakup.
Yeah. Don't waste your time.
But do you like that quick? I love a good like rule to go
Yeah.
by, and that line works for everything.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything.
I think that helps with like decision making. What we talked in our last episode, and time is your biggest asset. From entrepreneur to just a regular person, like your time is your biggest asset because it's
You can
not-
always make more money. You cannot make more time.
It's not refundable. So temporary discomfort.
No money back guarantee in the time.
No.
You promised me, Vince.
No, there's no time back guarantee on the time, right? And so like, be aware of that, and especially with your decision making. I think a lot of people don't. So I think there's like a couple of personalities that ran into life. There's like the people who let life happen to them, who like are more like want the exciting thing. There are more people who are really driven and very like in control of their time and how they spend it. And then there's people who kind of like me, who like zoom out and are open to new opportunities all the time, and then see where they can take you. Because if you take a zoom out, there's like, let's say 4, 10, 30, based on how creative you are, pathways to your next move.
Right.
And I don't see a lot of people who do that. I see a lot of people, like you say, who react a lot in life. I may react with my time, but I don't react in my life.
Right.
Like I know where I'm going to, so
Right.
much to the point where I don't need anybody to come with me. Like I
Yeah.
know that for a fact, right? But doesn't mean I don't want people to come with me.
Right.
It just means that like this is not needed for this to happen.
Right.
But also like it helps you with pathways to success. And I see a lot of people who are so afraid to make a decision, who are so afraid to know who they are, who are so afraid to say no, that they just kind of go in a circle and stay in the same spot, and then that makes them frustrated.
Oh yeah. Or they think because of like how they grew up, their upbringing, their culture, their
all
family
of it.
dynamic, that they're supposed to fit in these boxes that were predetermined. I actually dealt with that
A lot.
because my whole trajectory went away from, I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I'm very career driven. I'm the first female entrepreneur in my family. I travel. I'm an extrovert. I come from a big family of stay-at-home introverted moms.
Yeah.
And they're not career driven. So my values are very different. But it's hard when you have this huge, tight-knit, close, involved family. You almost just like think that's where you're supposed to go. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, you think like, obviously you always hear about, first generation American families, they're supposed to be a doctor, a lawyer, Gary talks about that all the time, but their passion is art or drawing.
Yeah.
And then they have to break it to their parents, they're not going to med school. And
Be let down.
right. And you know what I did though? This might be helpful. I did this in therapy, and this was probably like the best thing I ever did. Was I made 2 columns, and the left was everything that I value and think's important, and what I want my life to look like. What's important to me in life. So things such as having a really healthy marriage, having really healthy, happy children, lots of experiences and travel, and really strong friendships, etc., whatever it might be. And then I listed out what my mom's values were, and literally none of them were the same. So I realized, but the therapist said, like, neither one's bad.
Nope.
Neither one's good. There's nothing wrong with either one.
They're just not your value.
They're just not yours. And I had to literally cut ties with the values of my family. Now, obviously not in everything. Like, we happen to all believe in God. Like, it's not to say we're completely misaligned. We believe in loving our family. It's not like we're totally off course, but there's many areas that I went different.
Yeah.
But that really helped me basically remove the guilt of having different values than where I come from.
Yeah, and for the first generation Americans side immigrant thing, your parents are gonna want to live through you. What's the word?
Vicariously.
Vicariously. Like, just because they recognize the opportunity that you have, and sometimes you guys do. It would be critical. You do disrespect it because that's all you know, right? Now, that does not mean that you have to follow and make them proud and happy. And if you're young enough and you did, and maybe you're in it, but like not anymore, like you can take that temporary discomfort and switch. Like,
Yeah.
you just tell them that you did it their way, and now you're gonna do it your way. And we try to talk that in the Bjork podcast too.
Yeah.
Like, after you do it somebody's way for a while and you don't like it, you despise
Yeah.
it, like you already did it. And it
Yeah.
does not feel good and it's not efficient for your life.
Right.
And you don't want to do that for your kids
Right.
or people in your life, correct? Because you know how it feels.
Right.
So completely pivot and stop. And if you lose the house, that's fine. Those things don't matter anyway. Those are all those things, social contracts that humans build up because we're bored.
The more
Right?
comfortable you are with losing everything, the more apt you'll be to go for everything.
Exactly. Because, like, why not risk it?
Yeah.
Like, I think as an entrepreneur, like, you have to take a risk. In life, you have to take a risk. And if you're more steady Eddie, that's totally fine. Just look at it like it's not steady now. You're on the bumpy road.
Right.
And you make a left to get on that steady Eddie
Right.
road. And sometimes you got to who cares if everyone wants to be on the bumpy road? You don't want to be. And it's hard. It's not easy by any sense, by any stretch of the, like, imagination.
Yeah.
And I think I've always been good at. Well, I wouldn't say I've always been good at it. I just had no option, in a sense, because like I tried to be good.
That was me. My calling was so strong. I was never going to be a stay-at-home mom with 5 kids. I
regardless.
literally couldn't if I wanted to. My calling was so strong. I could not ignore
Yeah.
it.
So don't ignore your calling.
Okay, let's talk about saying no to the doubters.
Fuck them. That's it.
F the doubters.
That's it. I mean, like, I don't know how to go. So, yo, everyone doubts.
Well, I didn't.
Don't put
so
your-
this
don't
is where we
put- wait,
differ. I don't
don't
have
put-
a lot of doubters.
Okay, don't put your doubts on me, bro. Like, you're
So
not
they're
me.
projecting.
Listen, if you haven't had, I can get so hot on this. If you haven't lived every minute of my life exactly to a T, you
Yeah.
cannot comment or put any of your insecurities on me. You just can't.
Oh my God!
'Cause
Can you bottle that up and sell that?
Because you can't relate, G. Sorry, you just can't.
So talk to us
All right,
about your
chill out now.
experience with doubters.
I mean, I just been
Because
like,
I didn't actually have a ton of doubters.
So yeah, exactly. I've just been so used to it, and it's like either they're gonna be right or you're gonna be right. You gotta pick one, bro. And I'm gonna be right.
Always, you guys.
Like
He's never wrong.
And it doesn't feel good when they're right. Mm-hmm. Then you start second guessing yourself, and then you have to start asking people for simple things, and they don't know. How do they know? What makes them so smart? What makes them have the authority figure? How doubts? Like, don't put that on me, bro.
Right.
Like, and it's hard for you to like, and you have to, and it's weird. You have to get in the. I imagine like a fishbowl around your head with the water. There's a fish. Just focus on that fish going around. Don't focus on like the outside.
Yeah. Put blinders on.
Like,
I always picture horse blinders.
yeah, like don't do that to yourself. That's not fair to you, right? And if you're a doubter and you put that on other people, don't do it to other people either. Like, just because you have doubts, and I'm not saying that you're not right, and it's not good things to think about, but to put your insecurities and doubts on other people, or for you to accept that from somebody else, is a no-go in my book completely. Because what happens if they're right? And what happens if they're wrong? You're at the bid end of it. Not them.
Yeah.
This I told you so, or they even tell you I told you so, or they're gonna be like, why'd you listen to me?
Right.
They're not taking any responsibility.
Or when you win, they're like, we always believed in you.
Yeah, when you start winning, we're like, no, you didn't. That's totally fine though. Don't hate them for it.
Right.
But use it as fuel. Like, take it as like they don't believe in me. Well, I will show myself before
Yeah.
you say I will show you.
So what you're talking about is channeling that energy to it. Good.
Yeah, they just don't know. They really don't.
Yeah.
No one knows. No one could tell me, no one could have guessed in second grade that I'll be sitting here right now.
Right.
Not even me. So, there we go.
So F the haters.
F the haters, F the doubters. And if you doubt yourself, that's also not effective.
Right.
Right? And everyone deals with it in some, like, are you really that good? Can you actually accomplish? And reality is often disappointing. So accept that.
Vince, I never doubted you.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think you have a couple times, but that's totally
Never.
yeah, I mean, and when you do accomplish it for you, it feels so good.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like that's the whole
Cool.
goal. It's like you realize that you're stronger than you thought you were, They were wrong. You say you're right. I get competitive with it. I get competitive with it. Whatever your energy is and how that's how I always will do it. I always will show you my glimpse of where I go to encourage you to get to where
Right.
you go. You don't have to get angry like I do or be so F them and that may not be you. But like, don't take that energy to fuel you
Right.
on your way of doing it. Right? Like, if you're not a stay-at-home mom, then you're just not a stay-at-home mom. And that's what it is. That's just period. That's not even there's not even a question to debate. Right? A lot of people like to debate things that are undebatable in my book.
Oh yeah, and there's certain people in your life that they're not really up for debate, like parents and type 8s.
And then you just don't debate with them. We'll see who was right.
Right. That's exactly it.
Right? At the end of the day, like, we'll see 40 years from now.
Right.
Like, and you'll feel like, I just can't imagine, like, what would your life would be if you were just doing everything your mom might wanted you to do.
Right.
Probably wouldn't be the Liz you are today. And then so there you go. What if I was doing everything everybody else wanted me to do? Probably wouldn't be Vince I am today.
Right.
And so people listen to, it's so inspiring and encouraging and all that. Like, why do you think you look up to people like that?
Yeah.
Because they don't do, or they don't listen to the doubters, the haters. They say no. Like,
Just say
that's-
no to the haters.
like, that's what they do. All right, that's my little 3-minute rant. But yeah, that's it.
Any closing thoughts on no?
Yeah.
Maybe a last
No.
tip? No. You messed that up. All right, guys, no more tips, but we want to hear from you. Talk to us about the no's. I want to hear more no's from people. I want to hear how it's helping their lives and helping you reach your goals and just feel better.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out.
Jazz. Ooh, I even got your girl some jazz. Yesterday. Choo, choo, choo.